not winning at home, it's a painful thing for a coach, his staff, hopefully the players as well. This is not what we planned on. And when things don't go your way, you got to figure out how to right the ship, so to speak. Now, it's early in the conference journey, so still very optimistic. Still technically, mathematically control our destiny. But, you know, silver lining is guys really fought back, could have folded up. It showed some fight there in the second half, which is good, but not good enough at the house. The house you got to win. And that team played really well. They hadn't won a road game all year, and they played like they wanted one. And they were just out-hustled us in the first half, and that's on me. I got to write that part because, you know, it's one thing if you have miscues, or if you don't make shots, but I feel like we could have played a little more intelligently according to the scout, and we gave them way too many good looks off the ball screen. We tried the zone there for a little bit, and that worked for a little bit. Then they got going on that. So, you know, back to the drawing board. Unfortunately, we don't have long time to study that because we got to get right back on the road. Conference is upon us, and it's no rest for the weary right now. We got to keep grinding. So we will do that, and we'll get better, and we'll keep improving. I just want to make sure we improve with wins, and that's what it's all about. That's what we play for. So anyway, I'll open it up.
Amar, with these 3 games in conference play, what is your biggest concern so far after at this point? With
losing the 2 games that I felt were winnable games. You know, there's a lot of little basketball things, you know, and we could diagram things and break down the film, and you can come back with all kinds of. Anybody can do that, but you got to get your guys to buy into the level of competition that exists in practice. I mean, in conference, you know, it's real. I mean, you know, Wyoming wins against Boise State on the road tonight, I think, right? Or Boise lost at Wyoming, right? So, I mean, there's just conferences just going to be rough, but you got to protect the house. And that's what we got to do a better job of. And you got to steal some on the road, so hopefully we can right the ship with another win on the road.
This team almost looked like a completely different team in the second half in terms of being active on defense. What do you tell your team when you look at this team and they show you that they can turn it on at the switch of a button, but they don't start the game off like it always?
Yeah, well, you got to show them. You got to, you know, you could tell them right now they're pretty upset, as well they should be, and I'm okay with guys being down after losses, but we can't stay down for long. We gotta get back up, and so you got to show them what they did wrong. Show them the level of intensity, their stances, their inaccurate or lack of communication with each other. You can actually, I'll be able to show them how some of their guys out sprinted us, you know, down the floor. So, I mean, we've been grinding pretty hard, and we need to look at all aspects of what we're doing, you know, and make sure between our individuals and our practices that we're not wearing them down too much, because we literally looked a little listless, you know. We looked in the first half, and then it was almost like, you know, they threw the first punch, and then when we got hit, it was like, whoa, you know, let's go to work. And they fought back, but too little, too late. Mike?
I know you said before that if you have to coach motivation, then you're in trouble. Do you think is that more mental or physical?
I don't think it's motivation in this case, though. I think they're motivated to win. I think it's a lot of technical things, you know. Energy and effort, right. If you got to coach that, then it's not a good thing. But I think they want to win, and I think they're all in for winning, but that would be the motivational part. But their execution in the details, and effort is a skill that has to be developed. You know, let's make no mistake about it. The blemishes, when Mark asked me, what is my biggest concern, is probably, now that I'm thinking about it, is the lack of experience that we have of guys that have actually competed in conference. I didn't think that would be as big a deal, but it's starting to show up a little bit. You got great players that have shown they're great players, but in conference they're not, you know, rising up. to that challenge.
Going forward, what is your emphasis immediately? First thing you're going to go into practice and say, okay, this is what we're focusing on for the next couple days.
Well, I never like to answer that question until I get a chance to collect my thoughts and watch the film. So I'll go home tonight. I typically don't watch the game immediately following the game. I like to live a long time, so I don't want the stress of the profession to put me in 6 feet under. So I'll go see Tammy and the kids, and we'll grab a bite to eat at home or something, and then I'll watch something to just kind of disconnect for a minute, let my heart rate drop down, collect my senses, count my blessings, go through my routine, and then I'll wake up 4, 5, and then watch the game then, and then I could better answer it. But right now, my immediate thought off the cuff would just be showing them and educating them what conference is all about. And there's a lot of ways to do that, so we'll probably lean on some of that a little bit more.
What do you tell Jovan Mooring when it comes to his shots? Not so much the number of shots, but the shot selection, and get him to play within the flow of the
Yeah, I
offense.
didn't think he took a lot of bad shots. I think he hesitated a few times. Maybe he's listening to too many voices or something. I don't know. He's a good player. We all know that. He's just had a couple bad games now, back to back. Actually, 3. I think he's had 3 shooting slumps. I'm not too worried about it for some reason. I just see him every day. I know how good he is. So he just, I got to get him out of his head and get him to just play a little more free, you know. He'll be okay.
Also, talk about Amari Hardy a little bit. He offensively looked pretty good in the first half. Overall, defensively, I thought he had a pretty solid game. What did you see from him today?
Well, just what you just mentioned. I saw him trying hard on defense. Had a couple of defensive miscues, but he had good effort. And he's a kid that could score the ball, so he played well offensively for us tonight. And we had different guys that did some good things, but at the end of the day, we lost. So I hate to give individual accolades when one doesn't equate to a win. When we win, we can talk about those guys all day. But we're all part of a losing effort tonight, so we're not going to pat anybody on the back. We got work to do.
Well, it looked like Utah State early on, at least with their switching types of defenses, kind of gave you trouble when you started going inside more. That seemed to really help you. Was that really the key you thought was trying to
Yeah,
get the
we
outside?
talked about it, and we really showed them what we wanted to do from a rhythm and tempo standpoint, because they do change their defenses up. We had offensives called that could attack either or. But I still think when it changed, it got us on our heels a little bit. And that's just a lack of experience going against something like that. Utah State did a really good job. They played really good basketball. I don't want to take anything away from their effort tonight. 52% from the field, 40% from the 3, 81% from the line, and out-rebounded us by 2. They earned the win. They deserve the win. Let's call it what it is. We hate to lose, but they came in and beat us. That we didn't just come in and lose. They came in and beat us. We got to figure out how to beat them next time we play them. Anything else, guys? Okay, thanks.
I think they shot 56% in the first half. What was going on defensively for you guys during that stretch?
It was just transition. We just allowed too many transition threes, and we just had to lock in more on defense.
Did you feel like you got a handle on that as a team later in the game, and is that sort of what fueled you when you guys did make your run in the second half?
I feel like the first half we didn't really play with as much enthusiasm, but the second half we saw that they were actually a really good team, and we had to really, like I said earlier, we're gonna get everybody's best shot. So we saw that they were gonna really come at us, and we tried to lock in, but it was too late.
Did you feel that the energy was not there for you guys early in the game?
Well, I thought coming into the game we were pretty energetic, but like I said, we just got to lock in.
Jordan, this question is for you. With a game that was this tight going down the stretch? How do you guys work on better shot selections? Because it looks like there were a couple of three-pointers that were taken when the game was either tied or when you guys were trailing by 2. How do you guys look to correct that in the future?
Just practice. Do situations in practice and just know when and what to take.
Question for either of you. All the threes that this team made against you tonight, especially the big shots down the stretch, would you say they just made big shots, there's nothing you can do about it, or do you feel like your perimeter defense could have been a lot better tonight?
I believe they shot like 50. When we came in the first half, they shot like 57%, so that's pretty good for a team. I think they're a really good team. You can't take that away from them, but I think they did make a lot of shots that were, pretty. We got some really good defenders on this team, so, I think they made some pretty good shots.
This question is for either one of you guys. Can you guys talk about the energy that the second unit brought between Mbake and Amari? Can you guys just talk about what they brought to the floor when they came in the game?
When Mbake come, they all know their role, so when they come in, they know what to do, and they just bring that energy. Amari, he'll rebound, score. Mbake, block shots, score, do defensive stuff. We all know our roles.
And then, Brandon, one more for you. Utah ran a 2-3 zone to kind of start the game. Knowing how big this team is, knowing that teams are going to try to attack you guys like that, how do you guys try to change that moving forward?
I feel like we did a pretty good job offensively moving the ball. I saw the double team coming in, and if I didn't, I would hear my teammates yelling double, double, double. So it told me to, get the ball out of my hands as quick as possible, and I feel like we really did move the ball offensively really well.
Brandon, you guys pretty much rolled through non-conference play, blowing out a lot of teams. Now 1-2 in conference, a little bit of adversity, I guess, for the first time this year. What do you guys do to handle that, and what's the sense that you're getting from the team and your teammates now?
It's hard losing, but, it's a learning experience. I feel like the atmosphere in the locker room is going to be the same. We know that we got to buckle down and practice it as well as in games. We got a tough road game ahead of us. And we just got to get back to the drawing board, because, we want to win. So I feel like we still, like I said, we still got a chance to do some big things this year. We just hit a couple speed bumps.
Jordan, when Jovan's struggling shooting like that, is there anything you can do to help him get going?
Try to get him an easy one.
When Jovan's struggling shooting like that, is there anything you can do to help him get
try
going?
to get him an easy one or talk him up. Let them know they can still shoot no matter what. He's one of the best shooters in the country.
Jordan, what have you learned about Mountain West play? 3 tough games into this. Your first, obviously, and you watched last year, but what have you learned just to play in this, the first 3 games, about?
Everything's going to be a grind. They always going to give you a tough shot. Teams are always going to give you their best shot, So you got to be ready to put your hard hat on and play.